Hello, we're Legends on Paper, an eclectic group of longtime gamers with a passion for Dungeons & Dragons. We're not voice actors, professional gamers, or paid performers. We're regular people, just like you, except that we'll probably make complete fools of ourselves along the way as we attempt to have fun and entertain. If you enjoyed tonight's production, please follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our channels on Twitch and YouTube. And most importantly, don't forget to tell all your friends. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey as Legends on Paper presents the greatest adventure. So, our last session started innocent enough, as the Queen made a rare appearance at one of the lowly squires' tourneys to show her good graces and support for those of less talented measure. On this day, it happened to be the Sir Clydewell Arena, where our heroes were preparing to depart for the Dormonts. Not daring to be rude by leaving before the Queen could make her remarks, the party joined the ringmaster, Dormonts, and the rest of the warriors on the arena floor as an informal honor guard. As the Queen began to speak to the throngs of hundreds of adoring citizens, a strange buzzing became louder and louder until it was impossible to ignore. Suddenly, a wide portal opened in front of the Queen, and two massive demonic figures strode through. They were twins of each other, with thick skin scorched red over morbidly obese frames. One huge arm held a titanic cleaver, and the other was a mass of writhing tentacles. Worst of all was their engulfing tooth-filled maws that stretched nearly half the length of their bodies. But not only did they appear as twins of one another, but they spoke in tandem as well, identifying themselves as Demarag and Dorak, and demanding that the King of Lioness surrender some kind of vessel to their lord and master Balzabul, ruler of the high places, lord of flies, hungerer of souls, and the greater demon of gluttony. To ensure the king's haste, the demons magically imprisoned the Queen in a golden cage and summoned a dozen or more minor demons to cover their exit back through the gate, closing it behind them. The smaller demons, obese fiends with reddish skin, eyes, and mouths enclosed by elastic tendons, and a voracious appetite for flesh, were no small challenge. They killed many warriors and maidens of Suna, and even felled two of our heroes, Nihilus and Hildy. When it was over, and the demons were dispatched, the young lion, Prince of Lioness, who was nearly killed earlier by one of the larger demons, was brought back to consciousness along with Hildy and Nihilus when Nim used the yellow gem of healing provided by the FatMan a short time earlier. The prince, Archipelago Eldroth, was grateful, of course, but distraught at the loss of his mother, the Queen, as one might expect, and admitted that the demons had been a problem throughout Plethwy for several decades. He didn't know anything about a vessel, but he was sure his father, the king, would do anything to save the Queen, perhaps even the irrational. His uncle, Banfield Eldroth, Duke of Yorwick, soon arrived with a contingent of temple knights to secure the arena and a host of healers to do what they could for the survivors. As the party bade their farewells to Dorban and departed the arena into the chaos of the city streets, the wailing cries of the maidens of Suna, distraught at the loss of their queen, echoed over the urgent bells of the city like a premonition of sorrow to come.
All right, so as you are preparing to make your way out into the city, you can hear the bells tolling throughout Lionsgate, and you can see the streets are crowded with throngs of frightened spectators moving this way and that, pushing, stumbling over each other, falling into the streets, almost being driven by the Temple Knights, who are on their war steeds, doing their best to keep the crowds in some semblance of order, and also helping along the way, but ultimately just trying to get the streets clear. Some have retreated into taverns and inns where they have, for whatever reason, their own, decided that they're going to pretty much hole up there where the drinks are, while others are doing their best to make their way to the gates or back to their homes. As you look around the arena itself, you see that there are several healers, priests, clerics, a druid or two that are moving throughout the arena, up in the stands where a few have fallen, and as well on the arena floor where some of the warriors and maidens of Suna fell, tending to their wounds if they're injured, attempting to bring them back to life if they can do so. If they're not too far gone. You have 24 of the Temple Knights themselves that are assisting in however they can, but also mostly there just kind of keeping an eye on everything with the uncertainty as to whether or not these creatures might return, although they're not quite sure exactly what to expect if they were to do so, but I'm sure they've been filled in by those that survived the whole encounter. But it's just moments after the prince and the duke have left, and Dorban is now kind of just moving from place to place, almost in a dreamlike state, trying to figure out, what he needs to do first, helping where he can, but pretty much still shell-shocked after your encounter. So what would you like to do?
Any bodies about?
There are several bodies throughout, those that have been looked at by the priests and determined not to be, retrievable, and there are others that they are working on still.
Everyone's going to be on high alert. I don't know if I suggest this.
You're not in my head. All right, I will. Unless I see a visible pouch somewhere, I'm not going to do anything.
Well, I mean, if you want to make a perception check, you certainly can.
I certainly will. That's 9. 9 plus 11.
11, okay. It doesn't appear as if anything has been gathered from the bodies by the priests and clerics, but it does appear that they have a shirt has been opened where wounds appeared and were healed. Those that didn't survive, maybe they're in basically a disheveled state because of the work that they were doing on them earlier, but you don't see anything obvious now. Likely that they have a pouch under a coat or a cloak, or in a pocket, coins or gems or whatever they might carry of any value, but it's not clearly evident as you peer around the arena.
They probably wouldn't carry it on them into the arena to do gladiatorial battle.
I have mine. I'm just going to walk over to one where I don't see any priests, kneel down, pretend I'm checking the body, and is there a weapon nearby?
Yeah, you can easily find a weapon.
Then what I will do is I'll put my hand on the weapon, move it to the side, and I'll check them. Then I'll pick it up again, move it to the other side, and then when I stand up, I'll pick it up and I'll walk away with it.
The weapon?
Yeah.
Okay. So roll a d4.
D4.
This to see how many guards shoot.
2?
Okay. All right. So you find the weapon that's next to this human warrior is a short sword. So as you do your kind of cup and ball act with it from one place to the other, you walk away. You pick it up. You walk away. There are all around again, the Temple Knights that are kind of looking on, but none of them seem to react to you taking the short sword.
While he's attending to some of the fallen, are there any dying around that I could maybe use spare the dying on?
As far as you can tell, everyone at this point is being tended to. Either they're too far gone and they've died. They're not being resurrected at this point. You would probably guess that they're not going to be resurrected. But the ones that do have hope, there are priests working with them.
Looks like my work is done.
Perhaps we should hurry before the crowd gets too big.
Hurry to the exits?
Yes, dear.
I actually agree with you.
Let's get to those exits. And you'll see
You're very
Styx
wise.
running ahead of the group.
Ravik, I think at one point you mentioned that we were in like the west side of town, the western arena.
Yeah, so the arena itself is situated on the western side of Lionsgate, only a couple hundred yards from, down the boulevard from the western gate. So you're not too far away, but as you look out, you see the thick crowds ahead of you. It's going to take some doing, to get to them, even down this very, very broad boulevard that kind of like it separates and circles around the arena. The arena is clearly the centerpiece of this particular area of the city. And then down this broad arena that is about 40 feet wide, you can see that there are, of course, shops and taverns and so forth that line the way, all the way down, along with fountains and trees and hedges. And it's a beautiful city. Lots of white marble and gleaming gold domes and that sort of thing, Suna. And you can see the gate well down the boulevard. You can see that the gates are open, and you can see riding higher than most everybody else that's not mounted are the Temple Knights in their white cloaks that are fringed with gold, and the rampant lion in burgundy on the back of each of them, kind of just gingerly moving through the crowd, trying to help move them out if they're going out, or move them down alleyways if they're going back to their homes if they live in the city.
Hey, Blue,
Okay.
which gate is the quickest way to the Dormonts?
So, yeah, the Dormonts are far to the east of here on the road and outside of Yorwick. So I propose, it seems we might have trouble getting through town. We can head out the western gate and skirt the outside of town, make our way east. Or if you'd rather try your luck at pushing through these crowds, I don't know if it would be best to find a tavern to spend the night here in town, or if we want to take our chances sleeping on the road, which is more than fine with me. I just have a feeling that while the town is likely soon to be under martial law, we might have a harder time getting out.
The cleric and I are rather frail. Perhaps it would be better to leave town and walk around the outside until we get to the other side, rather than try and push through all these people.
Styx is just going to look around for any shops in the area from here to the gate. If you can see anything.
Okay, yeah. Roll a d30.
I'm going to stare at my muscles while he's doing this. Just kind of roll up my left sleeve.
I think before we exit, also Nihilus is going to take a quick look around the battlefield and see if there might be any suitable armor that he could pick up, or some arrows as well.
Well, any armor that you see somebody's going to be wearing, and so you would have to actually take it off a body. So there's no armor unless it's been removed from a body. Roll a perception. In an effort to heal that individual. That might be a possible case, but it wouldn't necessarily be the entire set of armor.
We have a party of rogues.
I was under the impression I didn't like stealing.
I got 24.
24, okay. All right, so you see that there's one individual in particular, looks like was wearing a chain shirt that's been removed from them and set to the side. There's another one that was wearing leather armor, a full set, band braces and the chest piece. That the top portion of it has been removed and set aside. Aside from that, then those are two of the warriors that are deceased. and then there was one Maiden Asuna that is wearing chainmail armor, and that has been removed from her as well and set aside. Whereas, she's still wearing clothing, and she is also among the deceased, and their possessions, the weapon or whatever, has just been cast aside near them.
If Dorgan is in the very near vicinity, can I call out to him? Is he close by?
No, he's actually has made his way as far away as he can, apparently, from the maidens, who have quieted down a bit at this point, but they are still, very, very much upset and just kind of like huddled together. He's over near the north bunker, where you guys had originally come up and into the arena. He's talking to one of the temple knights.
Well, fellows, if you need anything before we depart, this might be your only chance. I don't know if we'll have much luck in town.
Should we maybe leave that for their families? I'm sure you wouldn't want a stranger to take your armor, Nihilus.
Styx is going to wave around his sword and just say, you shouldn't steal from the dead.
Or from the followers of Suna. What do you think about that, Nim?
I'm not proposing taking anything myself, but I thought I'd give you the opportunity if there was something you needed.
Nami's going to go over to the body that has the breastplate next to it and pick up the breastplate and start walking out the door.
Do we see this?
Unexpected.
Yeah. Are you trying to sneak away with it, or are you just like?
No, just picking it up.
Okay. All right. So as you do so, again, there are temple knights all over the place. There's 24 of them in the arena.
If Styx sees this, he's going right towards the gate out.
Well, I think you all are gathered together near the gate right now. So if one of your number walks over to what you were scanning earlier, I think you would certainly notice. So as Styx sees Nim curiously walk over, about 40 feet away to where the Maiden Asuna is lying, pick up the breastplate and begin to walk off. One of the temple knights, oh there! No, where are you going?
Just need the breastplate to get out of here.
No, it doesn't belong to you. You leave it by the Maiden of Suna. That belongs to her. It'll be part of her burial.
Will it
You have
be
no
part of a
business bothering
burial?
with it.
If it's part of a burial, then we'll leave it.
Yes, you will, unless you'd like to go spend a little bit of time in our local jail here and explain to a magistrate why you're walking away with a temple knight's armor.
No need for that.
All right then. What does Nim do? Does she take it or leave
So
it?
what it... No, she drops it.
Okay, all right. You see
I
him,
don't think Nim would have been aware that it would have been buried with the Maiden of Suna, so she would just drop it.
all right. As you just drop it, the temple knight, who's just a few feet away, walks over. You see him pick it up. He's got a scowl on his face as he looks at you. I thought you, Sylvan, cared more about life, had more of a sense of what it is for those who have accomplished what these have. And he tries to brush off the armor a bit, gingerly, and then reverently takes it over. Under other circumstances, you'd be going with us. As you are now, with everyone leaving the city, I suggest you do as well.
I turn to Styx and I say, "Can you believe we're traveling with such a thief?"
Some people, some elves, heard they were shifty.
Thought she was a follower of Suna. This is weird.
This is taking a sideways turn.
So,
As Nim walks over to the group, I'm just going to say to her in Thieves' Camp, the Abba shake the dinghy, eh? And see what she says. See if she understands.
Do I understand, Ravik?
Maybe
no,
you can
you're not quite sure exactly what it is that he's saying. at this point, you don't know him very well, and maybe he's just speaking some babble to you at this point. You can understand the words, as you can understand the words of anyone that you're speaking to, but you're not catching their meaning.
I'm just going to ignore him and keep walking.
Okay.
Last week when the slime spilled all over me, am I the only one covered in slime still? Or
Yes, you are.
Start
I mean,
fidgeting with
in
my
the
clothing.
States, quite frankly, anyone that's near you probably would have been inching away as quickly as they could, leaving you kind of an island unto yourself, with everyone else kind of at least 10 feet away because of the stench.
I always do feel isolated a little bit, so could be something. I don't know where to go with this.
Just leave it.
Who wants a hug?
He does.
Who else wants a hug?
I'm gonna pull out a blanket, which I guess can be used as a towel, and a bar of soap, and go, gold piece, I'll give you this.
I don't know. Without water, it probably wouldn't help that much. So I'm just going to continue on. It'll be my new thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely it's kind of a red, rust-colored stain everywhere that it's exploded over you when you killed that thing. A nice little bonus to the act of putting it out of its misery. It just kind of transferred its misery to you.
Oh,
That was nice.
I already had enough, but I'll just tell people that the red stain is the blood of my enemies.
Which is
Pretty
not
nice.
true.
Okay, I'll go with it.
What did you roll on the D30?
20.
Six? Okay. So in the moment that you kind of glanced out to see, what shops might be ahead, the one shop you did notice right away was the hanging sign of a shop that sells musical instruments.
Just gonna keep my eye out for other shops.
Okay. As you guys gather to leave the arena, what's your plan? Which way are you going to go?
That
I think we're going to go up the west gate and skirt the city on the outside.
Okay. So going, although the flow of the crowd the majority of it is moving out toward the west gate, you're going to be actually going against the flow of the crowd to go around to the north or the south of the arena to get to the other side. So that is going to be a challenge in of itself. You can attempt to do so, of course, but if you've ever been to Manhattan, during rush hour, and just the throngs of people, walking one way or the other, it's almost, it's a difficult thing to move against them.
I'm confused. I thought we could see the gate in front of us.
You can see the western gate.
Yes, we're heading out the western gate and then going to go around the city to the eastern side.
Okay, I understood that you were going to go to the eastern gate and then around. Okay. All right, so then you're heading directly down the boulevard toward the western gate.
Yep.
Sorry.
We're using Jolo as a crowd clearer.
And that's actually helpful. It actually improves your movement a little bit as those that he comes close to, the stench kind of leading the way, they quickly, turn their noses scrunching up and move aside to let him pass, and the rest of you kind of piling in behind.
I'm helping. No one's more surprised than I am, but this is great.
So roll another couple of D30s, and I'll tell you what you see along the way.
Is there
7.
a stench roll?
29.
Okay, so you see what looks like an artisan shop, and on the left-hand side, which would be really hard to get to, and on the right, not too far away, seeming to still be open, is a tattoo shop.
Do we want to get matching tats?
I could
No
get
time for
wire
tattoo.
around my
There's also a
body.
tavern nearby that is literally just packed with patrons. You can see that there are a group of 5 vergivores that are just barely on their feet, mugs sloshing in their typical fashion. They greet any kind of alarm and urgency with copious amounts of alcohol. have found are pushing their way forcefully into one of the taverns to the disgruntled but then quickly stifled complaints of those that they move aside. The ones that seems to be the hardest on are a pair of kabooter gnomes that are kind of skipping along the outside edge very quickly, moving in and out underneath people, thinking that they're about to be trampled. They're moving so fast and so dexterously that they manage to worm through the crowd, and you just kind of see glimpses of them here and there as they literally move below their feet.
Can I keep my hand in my pouches?
Hoplins, which are the halflings that are moving as best they can, but they're taking a little bit rougher time of it. There's even one looks like a big muscular human with a Hoplin female on his shoulders, just kind of like pushing his way through the crowd toward the gate. And the Sylvan Centaur, given their bulk, a couple of them are pretty big, and then there's a couple of smaller ones with them that like a regular mount or steed is people are getting out of the way as their huge bulks move forward as well.
Sticks, do you think you could carry me like that?
You look at me, and I'm not a strong guy, so I'm gonna be like, hell no.
Oh, all right.
Jolo might be able to help you.
No, I'm good.
Rabbit, can I see a source tower? Is that nearby, or is that
I'm
off in
already
the
covering
distance?
enough slime right here.
Yeah, during the day, the glow from the crimson crystal that revolves at the top of the Atlantean towers that are built in almost every major city is not as bright, and so it is getting late in the day, but almost intuitively you kind of know where to look, and as you glance around you can see the dull glow. You can't see the tower itself. It's over on the north side of the city near the palace, but the city elevates at that point, and so you see the secondary wall, you see the top of the spires, but because of the orientation of the arena you can't quite see the tower itself, but you know it's up in that direction.
I assume my scent is fading quickly, very, very quickly. It's,
Oh, no,
it's
no,
going to
no,
be gone.
it's like
No, it lingers.
prevalent.
Oh no, I'm far too humble. No. we should make use of it while it lasts and just keep heading toward the gate.
We should find you a tailor.
You guys are about
Taylor,
halfway.
get some
You guys are
clothes.
about halfway
I've got
at
clothes.
this point.
Beautiful flowing clothes. Mostly flowing.
I'm gonna look
Yeah,
up
we'll
and
just
down.
keep going.
I think we should get you some new ones.
Oh.
Okay. So you moved about 100 yards at this point. Did you want to continue looking for shops and so forth? Okay, roll a couple more d30s.
Roll better.
Yeah.
16, 11.
Okay.
I think it just matters that I don't think the number highness matters.
Yeah.
So-
Over on the left-hand side, you guys are moving down the right-hand side at this point, kind of near the center, but there's a lot of people moving with you. Over on the left-hand side, which would be harder to get to, you see what appears to be a shingle with game pieces and so forth, which would indicate a game shop of some sort.
Oh, I wonder if they
And
have.
then the second number was a 16?
Yes.
Okay. Coming up on your right-hand side is the shingle that would indicate a jeweler or gem cutter shop.
It's too bad we don't have a gem. It's
I
going to
do.
be useful.
I do. No,
It's going to take too long.
I'll wait.
Okay. So you move up.
Didn't Nihilus have a gem?
That's what I said.
Never mind.
Do I notice any tension between Nim and Nihilus?
You can roll perception.
5. I'm too busy looking for shops.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting bumped into, you're getting pushed. As you mentioned, you're not the most physically intimidating person, so, people aren't hesitating to move past you briskly as they, push their way toward the gate. And again, everyone's kind of keeping it in pace by the Temple Knights on each side, just kind of, prodding and guiding gently along the way. And so a couple more rolls as you get to the gate itself, almost to the gate.
Are we looking for stables as well?
What was that?
Are we looking for stables?
Are we?
Oh. 21 and 11.
We should be.
Okay.
You already rolled 11.
Yeah.
That's your second 11?
Yep.
Okay. So the one on the left-hand side appears to be a general store, basically. Supplies, that sort of thing. Tools and pots and pans and ropes and ladders and things like that. And then the other one was a 21.
Yeah.
This shop, it's not a stable, but you can tell by the symbols on the shingle that hangs over it that they sell saddles, feed, and packs, for horses and tack and barding, that sort of thing.
Perhaps
Maybe we can inquire there where the nearest stable is.
and maybe some food for the road at the general store. Styx doesn't seem to eat enough.
You look like you need some meat on your bones, too.
Oh, I need some meat, dear.
So are you all going to go together, or are you going to separate?
I don't think we should separate with all this chaos going on.
No, I'm much too frail to separate.
And we've got to keep an eye on Nim. I don't know what she's going to be taking next.
Now that you know that there's a fight that's broken out down one of the alleyways, there's lots of people moving down that alleyway, but it looks like a dwarf and a hoplin have gone to blows. And to your surprise, it looks like the hoplin is wailing on the dwarf, getting the best of him, landing a few. His face is kind of bloodied. Everybody else is just kind of like not really stopping, but just kind of slowing a little bit as they move around. Did you want to do anything, or just keep going?
Keep going.
No, I'll just mention to everybody, things seem to be heating up here. I think we need to make haste.
Yeah, just as you pass and make the decision to pass, you hear the clunk, 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 clunk of a horse coming up behind you and then turning down that alleyway as a temple knight goes rushing down there to put it into it.
Well, were we passing, or were we going into one of the stores?
You're on your way. So which one did you want to go to first? Did you want to press through the crowd to get to the general store, or the easier one is to get to where the saddle and feed are?
We could ask the general store just as easily where a stable is.
Yeah.
Go to the general store.
All right, so make your way over there. It takes some doing.
Jolo, clear a path.
With the help of Jolo, certainly is helpful. He'll make a dex save.
Wait,
That would include my dex mod?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that'll be a 3.
3.
I think you got a little too close to me.
As your head is swiveling, just trying to keep an eye on everything, and then the press of the crowd and so forth, a caboodle goes rushing across your feet, and then just behind you, you get hit and put, which kind of slows you down and stops you, and then unexpectedly you get hit by the heavy bulk of a centaur that's moving past you, and that throws you prone.
Oh!
You go falling.
Can I try to catch her?
Do you want to?
You don't really have a marching order, so I'm not sure where you're going to be, if you're going to be close enough, especially with the press of the crowd. You may have you can make an acrobatics at disadvantage and see if you might be close enough to stop her from hitting the ground. Okay.
7.
So she does go down, which,
Like she promised.
Yeah, you can set aside.
she takes 6 points of damage.
Wow.
Tripping?
Not so much tripping, but the trampling that takes place is people not expecting you to fall so quickly and getting shoved to the floor.
All right.
The crowd just moves over you, and then as they do so, there's at that point, do the rest of you stop?
Ouch! Ouch! Help!
Yeah, let's stop.
No, I said we keep going.
So at that point,
No more
as the rest
stop.
of you stop and pause, the crowd begins to move around you, realizing that there's a person on the ground at that point. And you've seen this happen a few times as you move down the boulevard. What are you gonna do?
Pick her up.
Oh, thank you.
She's a large individual.
But she's light.
Tall but frail.
I wouldn't want to get any of the slime on you.
And
so-
as I pick her up, I'll look at Jolo, who's not helping at all. And I'll up her up.
No, I'm good.
He's keeping the crowd at bay with his
Yeah.
sketch, but attracting flies at this point.
Would you say that I am the lord of the flies?
Not yet, but you're certainly going in that direction.
Maybe you should wait outside when we go in the store.
Nah, I'm good. People get a good place, they want me to leave.
Maybe they'll want us all to leave.
That could be a distraction. You know, if someone wanted to steal something. Nim.
All right, so as you get to the general store, at this point, with Hildy in tow, when you get there, the door is locked. And you realize, you're really close to the arena still, so they probably knew fairly early that, there was a bad situation.
Well, that's a shame.
Is there a window? Can I look inside?
Yeah, there are windows.
I'll just take a look inside.
All right, roll perception.
And Nim's gonna bang on the door at the same time.
10 plus 2, 12.
All right. So you don't see anything at first. You do see that there is light coming from a slightly cracked open door in the back of the general store, and you see, you can see kind of down the central lane aisle, where there's all kinds of different merchandise, and there's several aisles of merchandise, mostly tables and shelves that are just strewn with all kinds of different items that you would expect to find in a general store. But after Nim bangs on the door, you note that the shadow emerges from in the crack of the door, blocking the light, and as if somebody's peering through it and then out toward the front.
Can I push Nihilus in front of the window? Because I think he's going to be... Atlanteans are a little more stand-upish than some human.
If Nihilus allows you to do so. No?
I mean, is he pushing me? I don't think
If
I'd
you
let
want to
him
shove
push me.
him, you can
Yeah, I'll give him a little shove.
All right, roll athletics. And Nihilus, you roll athletics.
Oh, not 20.
Oh, shit.
-1.
And that 20 minus
Athletics or acrobatics?
athletics, the strength contest.
Oh, then 14.
Okay. All right. So you weren't expecting Styx to have the leverage that he did. Probably more about leverage than strength at this point, as he suddenly just kind of pulls you over in front of the window, and you're kind of standing there with the crowds behind you. If you look in, you can also see that there's the shadow of somebody looking out a cracked open doorway about 30 feet into the store, and as you appear in front of the window, it seems like there is a hesitation as the door kind of opens a little bit, and then it shuts completely.
Nim's gonna just shout through the door crack at the shadow. Just 5 minutes. We're heading out of town. Time for you to make a sale. You don't know when you're going to be able to open your shop again.
Okay. Roll persuasion.
11.
11. Yeah, there's no response.
If I were to touch the window or the door and just light it up, can I see who's inside? Using light
What are you casting it on?
on either the front door. Could I do the front door?
Yeah, I mean, you can cast it on the front door. As you do so, the entire, that area, what is it, a small area of the door that you cast it upon illuminates. What's the...
Okay, on my side or also on...
What's the area that it affects?
It affects no larger than 10 feet in any dimension.
Okay, so it's pretty...
Sure.
It can affect a pretty big area. Right?
I don't do anything small.
But
Don't say anything.
But you have the choice as to how much of the area that it says up to 10 feet, right?
But is it just
And
going
it
to be
says,
outside?
You
right,
touch one object that is no larger than 10 feet in any dimension.
and it's
So
bright light for 20 feet
I would assume a
radius.
door is not more than 10.
Yeah. So when you do touch it, it illuminates brightly. The light, shining back. There's a few, surprise exclamations from those nearby. People still, there's a pause or two. People still keep moving, but it doesn't illuminate the other side. As you look through the window, it
Not the
doesn't
whole
illuminate
object.
the inside.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to undo it. I'm going to stop it because that doesn't really seem to help me at all.
That was very bright there.
I have a lot of bright ideas.
Think of it in the same way as if you illuminated a shield.
It'd only be the front. Okay.
Whereas a pebble would be, it's just round, or it might illuminate more than just one side of it.
All right, let's try somewhere else.
Nihilus,
Unless
before
you
we
guys want to
leave,
break down the door.
Nihilus is just going to rap on the window real quick and just kind of shout against it. Could you just point us in the direction of the nearest stables, please?
All right, roll a persuasion.
Uh, 14 minus 1, so 13.
Okay. Yeah, he rolled a natural 20. Fuck you. So he, whoever that was behind the door, in the back of the store, doesn't seem intent to be persuaded by anybody at this point. There's a lot of fear right now, and so you can imagine that if he were to open the door, that he could be opening it to robbers or a crowd of people just looking for a place to shelter. Clearly, as a business owner, he's doing the best he can to protect his property. So it's not surprising in any way.
Styx is going to say, he's going to say to the
Go ahead,
group,
DJ.
why do you guys want horses? They're just going to die on the road, or they cost money. It's going to be a waste. We're in no rush. FatMan didn't give us any timeline.
Well, we could eat them if they die. I mean, I guess we could eat Jolo if he died.
No, I'd
It's
rather
the same thing, really.
What? I'm not horse-based. I don't know what you're implying.
Everybody says that nothing rhymes with orange, but they don't sound anything alike to me.
Nim's just
What?
going to start walking out towards the exit.
Okay.
As much as it pains me to say it, but I'm going to follow Nim.
And Nim is very much aware that you're following her, as again, you're like Pigpen, with the swarms of flies now, and the stench that almost creates a barrier around you as people do their best to just move away as they see the state of your clothing, and pretty obvious that the stench is coming from you.
It may be obvious from others, but from my point of view, they're just respectful of such an established cleric as he walks through. So I hold my head up high, and I'm just loving it, loving it.
Can I just scan Nihilus and see if I can see that pouch of gold on him anywhere?
Yep.
6.
He's got lots of pouches, as Nim found out. At this point, you guys are at the gates. You can see that there are a number of mounted and unmounted temple knights and regular guards of the city that aren't knights, that look like they have military symbols. So they are obviously letting people through. No one's coming in through the gates, or trying to come in through the gates, as they hasten everyone out onto the road. And then at that point, the road begins to split off into several directions, going around the city to the north and the south, going off to the west a bit, and then other roads that are small roads and pathways that lead off. And you can see that outside, on the outskirts of this great city, with the population kind of dispersing, you can see that there are vast tent cities set up outside the main city. These are temporary shops and taverns and canvas-sided inns to handle the overflow from the bulging city from the tourneys. Some of them are in the process of being taken down. There are makeshift alleys and streets between these in these tent cities. They go on and on and on, almost for several hundred yards in different directions, almost up to the wall. The air here is a lot more clean. You would think it would be. Those that aren't so close to to Jolo. And it's much easier to walk, even with the crowds as they're moving in different directions. You're not quite as pinned in and crowded. You can walk more freely now. And it's almost strange, with the bells still ringing, the urgency of the bells, people, the loud voices, from the city, the cries, the anger, the shouts that you're hearing once in a while, laughter, just cackling laughter from somewhere in the crowd. The crimson flags bearing the golden silhouette of a rampant lion, the crest of lioness. You see them fluttering calmly, gently in the breeze everywhere, reminding you that this was supposed to be a time of unity and celebration. They flutter from every tower, every arena, atop crowded stands, flagpoles. All that seems to be in contradiction now with the panic of people spreading out. And you can see carts are being loaded and people are grabbing their travel bags, those that don't live here, and maybe some that do. And they're beginning to slowly head off down the different larger roadways.
From where we are at the gate, can we see stable, hitching post, Pony Express station, stagecoach drop-off, anything that we think would be near a gate, if that makes sense?
Roll a perception.
Maybe a glue factory or something?
Maybe a glue factory would be great.
Thinking outside the box.
That would be a 7.
I mean, if it were obvious...
I did just get beat up.
You did. If it were obvious and it was like right in front of you, no matter what you roll on perception, except for a natural 1, you're going to notice it. But in this case, as you look out, you don't see any obvious transportation hub for carts. And I mean, there is an area where you see that just outside the city walls on the left-hand side behind where the Temple Knights are, there are wagons and carts and carriages. Most of them don't have their horse teams attached to them. Looking beyond that, you can see that there's corrals where there are dozens of different types of horses, all under the watchful eyes of guards that seem to be a little bit more wary as people fled from the city. You see some of the people go over and obviously they're retrieving their cart or their carriage or their horse or their mount or whatever that they chose to keep out here. This is a staging area for people's personal property, but you don't see like a carriage, a coach house, where they would be like public transportation, although they do exist, just you don't see one here.
Might be able to catch a ride with somebody who happens to be going in our direction.
Some of those wagons, there's enough room that you could sit in the back and we might not smell you.
Where would you sit?
Oh, I would sit next to you.
So, Ravik, south of town, there's a main road that heads sort of east and north towards Yorwick, correct? Can we make our way towards that road?
You could. You just have to follow the road around the wall until you get there, and then you can easily merge onto that road. There again, out here, you're not having any trouble, walking. But you can see crowds of people everywhere.
As I recall, we're landlocked. There's no boats as an option where we are. Okay.
Nihilus Arrival of House Arameth, I'm following you.
Let's head this way, folks. We'll see what we see along the way until we reach the road.
He's very smart. We should follow him.
I mean, really, the only person FatMan mentioned by name was Styx, right? No, I'll keep going anyway.
No, he named all of us, I believe.
I guess as we're traveling, I'm going to walk up to Nim and say, so what is this Order of the Silver Leaf the FatMan was talking about?
It's a place that I studied to be a paladin for about 50 years, back on the Emerald Isle.
And how about you, Nihilus? He mentioned something about some mission for the Empire. What's that?
We can speak of that later. I don't know that this is the time to get into idle chit chat. We need to make our way through these crowds of people, and maybe once we're on the road.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. Love it.
That's a shame. I like the idle chit chat.
It is a little bit hard, even though there's not as many people as what, inside the city. There's still quite a lot of people around going the same way you are. Some in horses and carts, some mounted, some many walking. So it is a little, you're still among a lot of people, just not, in a press like you were inside. It takes you about 45 minutes to get around to the east side, and not so much because of the crowds as much because you're moving normally, but just the sheer distance to get around to that side of the city. Plus, you have to cross where the southern gate exits, and you can see that there is, even though it's quite a bit further from the arena where you guys were in, Sir Clydewell Arena, there are other arenas, inside that you can see. Some that have been built temporarily out of wood, some that are, more permanent and are there all the time, or have been built, specifically for the tourneys, out of stone. But the masses coming out of the south make it difficult to traverse past for a while and then get to the other side and go around the eastern side of Lion's Gate. But when you finally do, you kind of merge with the crowds that are exiting the east side, again dispersing in lots of directions, not everybody heading up to Yorwick, but there are quite a few. I mean, this is a major thoroughfare highway, that is paved all the way up to Yorwick, as Nihilus would know, and some of the rest of you would know as well, that have traveled on that road. There's a main artery up to Yorwick, with lots of settlements and farmsteads and wayside inns and places to stay along the way. You know that there's some areas that are more in the country that there's not a lot around, and it's a little bit more wildernessy than others. But they are generally patrolled between Yorwick and Lion's Gate. Lioness itself is considered a very secure and peaceful kingdom. But there are still those outlying areas where, trouble happens. There are bandits from time to time. But this is a very, very well-traveled road, and you feel pretty confident that, you're moving, you're in safe company in any case, for the most part, at least for now.
Nimi's going to ask Styx, so who's Cudgel?
Cudgel's someone just like the FatMan. He used to do a job for him, and now he's after me.
So he's a big man too?
Oh, he's a big man, all right. It's one of the reasons I didn't really want to go on this task, but I don't want two thugs coming after me. Rather just have one. So let's get this job over with and get back.
It is Cudgel based in Lioness. Lion's Gate.
What was that, Nim?
Is Cudgel based in Lion's Gate?
No. And Styx doesn't say where he is.
Cool. Nim keeps walking.
So, for those of you that have been between Yorwick and Lion's Gate, you know that the distance between the two cities is about 200 miles, and that it would probably take on foot somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 days, depending on the weather, to get there. As you're only really moving, 4 miles an hour on foot, and so at best. But depending on how long you travel, during the day, may shorten the time considerably. Obviously, it would be a lot quicker on horse if you had one, and a cart is really not much faster than foot. So it's a distance either way. No matter how you look at it, it's a good distance either way. But what you do know, and although none of you have, as far as each of you know, the general feeling is that none of you have actually been to the Dormonts, but some of you might know generally where it is. Thing is that the Dormonts being as huge of an area as it is, the rolling fields and plateaus and so forth that span hundreds of miles. There's also a massive forest between the road that leads to Yorwick and the Dormonts. So you, as might have been implied, I think earlier, when speaking to either Dorban or the FatMan, once you got up into the area not too far away from Yorwick, some of the locals might be able to help out with directions. A little bit more familiar with the local area up there.
So we know that Lionsgate is here, Yorwick's east?
Yorwick is north.
North.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the Dormonts are
You
north
can go
also.
east and north up,
Yeah, so-
up the main road, and then the Dormonts are west of, this area here, west of Yorwick.
So do I know if we're going to pass through Yorwick? Or I have no idea, we're just heading
If you
out?
get to Yorwick, then, well, I mean, Nihilus.
It's like take the road to Yorwick and then we'll make a left and head towards the Dormonts.
You're going to see Styx get a little uncomfortable and just put his hood up.
Are you
Yeah.
cold, dear?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, you're aware, any of you that are familiar with the outskirts of Yorwick, south of Yorwick, and on this road, there are villages and settlements all over the place, and then there are spans of wilderness. But certainly, someone in one of those villages will probably have a good idea as to, how to get to the Dormonts. Even though it may not be a popular destination, that's the area they live in, they probably know a little bit.
If I've been on this road before, if I have, would I know any towns on the way?
So, I mean, you would know if you came from Yorwick that down to Lionsgate, if you've been on this road from Yorwick, then yeah, you'd be familiar that there are villages and settlements, but you may not necessarily be really familiar with their names or exactly where they are. You may have a general idea, so I mean, if you want to make a history check based on your experience traveling this road, then you can do so.
Nope.
Nihilus is a bit sour because he literally just made this trip like a couple days ago.
4.
Yeah, so I mean, you remember that there's villages and there's wayside inns, there's places to stay, there's lots going on, as you get closer to the cities, and then spans of nothingness in between. But you just don't recall the specific names of any of the villages or anybody that you might have met there.
So what time is it now?
At this point, it's about 6 o'clock in the evening, and you're about an hour away from dusk. I mean, you can see the light is failing. Suna is preparing to kiss her sister and turn the day over to Luna for the night, and the moon will rule the sky.
Are we still within the vicinity of Lionsgate?
You are. You're not. I mean, you just turned onto the eastern road that curves north toward Yorwick, and so you're not. I mean, you can still see Lionsgate, nearby.
In any of these tent cities outside of town, was there anything that looked like a makeshift tavern, a place we could stay the night or prepare before we left?
Okay, so over on the east side, again, yes, the tent cities are very, very, very thick with patrons that are staying there. But again, a lot of them are being literally taken down. But the campsite inns and taverns seem to be doing a lot of brisk business despite the urgency. And by the time you get around to the east side, the bells have stopped to begin to stop. Slowly at first. The further out at this point, over near where you were on the other side of the city, the bells begin to just slowly diminish in the distance until all you hear is the crowds around you. All right, so as you're traveling through the tent cities, everybody roll a couple of D30s, and I'll tell you what you see. And I'll tell you if they're open, what you see, if it's open or not.
One and a 9.
30.
I rolled a 20.
I got a 3.
All right, so the apothecary that you see Hildy appears to be apothecary. That's being taken down briskly by a couple of Pufflin. And looks like you can hear the clink and clatter of whatever, liquids inside bottles and vials and so forth that have been packed up in crates and are being moved into a cart. What was your second roll?
I don't remember. I think it was like a 19.
19? Okay, so you run across you're the first to notice, a corral and stables with horses. Looks like, they have a few horses in the corral.
I'm going to tap Nihilus on the shoulder, point at the corral, and then trot over to the apothecary on my little old lady legs. I'll say, I know you're closing, but I have a boo-boo. I fell. Could you maybe sell me some bandages or a healing potion or a medical kit?
We've packed everything up. We're leaving now. We'd have to go.
But I'm old and frail, dear.
I see you're frail. Roll persuasion.
15.
15. He's old. Let him. There's a male and a female. Seems like they either own or run this small little tent apothecary that was set up for the tourneys. All right. Let me look through here, see what I can find. And he opens looks like a hard-sided pouch. And you hear the clink, 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 clink of several vials, small. They must be small that he kind of looks through. I don't want to open a crate, but I have this. I have this little small one. I have a small little vial of the healing potion. I will sell it to you for 55 gold. How is it?
I have 15. Do you have bandages, maybe?
You said you wanted potion.
Well, if you have a 15 gold potion,
I don't.
then I can only buy bandages.
Just give him the bandages. Okay, very good. Very good. He takes some linen, kind of rips it up, making these, very uneven bandages, 3 or 4 of them, and he hands it to you. Here, please, go. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. I'll kiss the top of his Hofflin head.
I wouldn't Hofflin, it was Kabooter, so these are 2 little gnomes. And
Bend down further then.
You have to bend a little bit further. So, it just kind of looks annoyed up at you. Fine. I'll sell you the healing potion for 15 gold.
Oh,
So
thanks.
that's why I'm not going to open the
Thank you,
crate
dear.
anymore.
Thank you.
And so you're kind of blushing, and the little female Kabooter is just kind of like tapping her foot, got her arms crossed, just kind of looking at him like, oh, something. Always the women. How old must they be? How old?
I'll trot back to catch up with the
You
party.
hear them kind of starting to get into this little argument as you walk away.
Good thing they gave it. I was about to try and steal one.
Nihilus, did you see the ponies?
As we're heading,
Yep. I think in order to make haste, we should think about procuring some of these horses.
Are we in a rush?
I'd rather sit on the back of a horse than walk them on my own feet.
as we're heading toward the stables, do I see any large quantity of water that they would be?
Corral.
Is that what a corral is?
No.
Oh.
A corral is like a big fence. A stable's like a barn.
However,
I'm a cleric, not an agriculturalist.
you would probably know enough, I'll give you this, to know that there are troughs filled with water that the horses drink out of
That's what I'm talking about.
within the corral. But also in front of many of the tents, there are hitching posts and there are troughs of water for any horses that anybody owns or rides up and visits the tent to shop or whatever. They could leave their horse and they could drink water.
So, if I were to ask Hildy to turn around, could I just kind kind of clear off some of this filth from my outfit.
You can certainly
the
attempt to. As you-
Attempt to ask her or attempt to use the water?
No, I mean, you can attempt to use the water to do so, to clean
Okay.
yourself.
I'm gonna turn around.
Wow,
I'm going to hold up the bar soap and go 1 gold.
that seems
You're
high.
the one who has to smell it. You should be paying me to use this. So,
I'll put the soap away.
alrighty then. Okay, so yeah, there's going to be the first shower scene of the campaign, and I'm just going to kind of try to
Hopefully the
work this
last.
stuff out.
So the two horses that are at this trough immediately shy away as you walk up, and you're standing in front of this trough. It's got about 8 inches of water inside. It's about 3 feet long. The horses have moved as far as their reins will allow them to go in different directions, and I mean, it looks. I mean, it's water.
Well,
There's you can smell the very strong horse scent, next to the horses.
Is the
in this
horse
area.
scent worse than the slime, or
Oh,
is it?
no.
No.
They can tolerate their own scent.
so are there any sacks, like packs on the horses?
Maybe the horses will trust me if I smell like a
I
horse.
figure while he's distracting everybody and sort of causing a scene in the
While I'm
trough.
distracting the horses?
One of them has
No,
a
I'm sure
regular
everybody's
saddle, saddle set up on it. Didn't have any bags of any sort on it. Another one has what looks like a bedroll that's been rolled up onto. It's got a couple of saddle bags. It's got a spear like shoved into the side of it, to keep it from falling out. It's looped on and tied. There's a hand axe that's hanging down off of a leather strip on the left hand side. There's fur that is around the saddle itself. It doesn't look so much expensive as it looks probably handmade. And well taken care of.
I'm sure he's causing a little scene with, splashing water
I
on
mean, there's
the
nobody
trough.
near the horse right now.
And I'm going to look around, see if anybody's around.
Don't forget, I'm not frail. I'm muscular,
I'm
as we
going
proved
to,
before.
try to just reach in the saddlebag and see if there's anything there.
All right. So you make a sleight hand, and Gil, I guess the most significant thing about what you're experiencing right now is that, along with a lot of this water, is a lot of, horse drool.
That's fine.
It's just. I mean, it's the water doesn't. I mean, it has a stench to it, but
But the sandalwood cancels it out, right?
it's been there all day, and it's late in the evening at this. They're getting into the evening at this point. The sun going down, and then you see lights appearing, around the tent city, torches and lanterns and so forth. I'm assuming you guys are in front of the stables.
I'm actually singing in the shower to help distract people from whatever this guy's doing,
Okay, well,
by the way.
yeah. So I mean, you're definitely getting some looks as you're bathing in the trough, which is not a common sight. Haven't seen that here before. Maybe where you're from, it's a typical thing.
I'm a
but-
trendsetter.
But there are definitely people kind of glaring at you, and some of them kind of whispering to each other as they go by, but nobody stops. Everybody seems to be in a hurry. Would you roll for sleight of hand?
Wait,
25.
nobody seems to be in a sense of hurry. They're just kind of watching.
No. Everybody's in a hurry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're moving, so they're not stopping to watch this spectacle. What'd you roll?
A 25.
25. Okay.
Spectacle, like I'm spectacular.
The right or the left one?
Right one.
Okay.
Whatever's farther away from him. Like
So
the horse
on
moves
the
this
other
way.
side of the horse?
Equidistant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
la 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 la.
So looking in that satchel, you find what looks like some partially eaten rations. Looks like there's been nibbles off of they're all kind of like partially wrapped and unwrapped. This hardtack that almost every one of them has been nibbled on. So there's not one that's like completely sealed. Like you would normally buy them, and some of them they look like they've been there for a while. A little bit of mold here and there. Okay. There's also a disc inside the pouch. It's about 6 inches in diameter, and it looks to be made of silver. And it has a hole in it, as if there would be perhaps a thong or something that went through it, like a leather strap. Maybe it's worn in some way. There's the symbol of Suna on it, and on the other side it's just like the opposite depression of, as if it was stamped or beat into the metal. And then aside from that, there's a mishmash of just junk.
Taking this silver
Okay.
and sliding it in my pouch. How big is it? 6 inches?
It's about 6 inches in diameter. It's probably worth about 20 silver pieces.
We should probably work on discretion with him.
Does
do we see him doing
anybody
this?
see it?
Yeah.
You rolled a 25. No.
Even we don't see it?
I mean, we're kind of waiting for each other, wouldn't we be
But
like?
you guys are like just riveted on the scene with Jolo and Trop.
That's true.
Watching this.
I am a manly
People are
man.
Really, really high sleight of hand. So, although you might expect him to do something like this at this point, you still don't know each other very well. So maybe not.
right.
So, yeah, Jolo's just. I mean, he's just out there.
Can't
Everybody's
reach my
watching him.
back. Can anyone just,
I can get
No, that's good.
You see, at this point, the horses are just like pulling against the reins. Wanting to get away further, and
They
can't.
should be happy I'm not charging them. Thank you.
I had rolled a d30. Are there other things around?
Yes. So they're in front of. You're all kind of in front of the stables. And what did you roll on your d30?
A 10 and a 28.
Okay. You see what appears to be like a fish and tackle shop that's been set up. It doesn't seem to be open, as the tent flap is closed, and you don't see any light coming from within. And what was the other number?
10 and a 28.
28. Okay. You see what looks like a. I mean, you recognize the symbol right away on the side of the temple as the what looks like a tent temple, as a temple of Suna. But it's very small, and it looks like maybe just an outreach center, that they have out there. It's obviously not a permanent structure, and maybe just for the faith, that are out there, residing in the tent city during the tourneys. And there's people moving in and out. It's a rather large tent. It looks like they probably have services, some ritualistic things going on. As we're getting closer to right at sunset now, you can hear the intonation of what sounds like chanting, and the Nim would recognize as the tradition of the setting sun, which some partake
Jolo-
of,
Jolo had said that he had a shield with the Suna symbol on it.
I do. Of course, it's in the shower with me, because, I'm still scrubbing away.
Yeah, he's not paying attention to that, but you noticed it.
Well, it as soon as he's finished cleaning himself off, I'll tap on Jolo's shoulder and say, it seems there's a temple of Suna over there. Maybe we should try to procure some horses for our travel, and maybe you can see if you can talk to your brother and see if they have any supplies they could aid us with on our journey.
I don't know. Don't you think Suna would provide? I don't see any Are there any horses outside the Suna's temple? Makeshift temple?
Yeah, there'd be some outside. I mean, it's again, it's a big tent. There's probably, it looks like there's about 8 horses outside.
And there's fewer than 8 of us.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Okay.
Those obviously belong to somebody. Just
Well, I'm not saying we should take them.
they obviously belong to the people that are going. But the stables are open.
The stable's where I'm currently
Bathing. Yes. They're open. Right around the corner would be the opening to the tent flap, and then you're close to where the corral is on that side. And as you're just about to finish up, you hear the clink, 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 and coming around the corner is this very, very tall, muscular, red-haired woman. She's human, and she's wearing chainmail with bits of plate here and there. It looks absolutely... I mean, the care that she has taken in keeping it clean and repaired is obvious. I mean, it shines brightly. She didn't wear any particular symbols, of any sort on her. But what you do notice that's, particular to her is that a lot of the armor that she wears is fringed with fur, and she's purposely walking toward the horse that also has the packs and the saddle that was fringed with the fur as well. And she's carrying something in her hand. It looks like loops of leather, and she takes that, opens up the pouch, the side saddlebag that Sticks, you're somewhat familiar with. Opens it up.
How far away am I now?
You're nearby.
Not far enough.
You're still watching it, and dumps the leather straps inside. And kind of pushes them, pushing them in, and it's enough. It's like really, it's a lot of them. It's obviously something. Whatever she's using it for, she's got a lot of leather straps, and she kind of takes her a while to get the pouch closed. She opens it up, moves them around again, kind of looks inside, moving them, annoyed, and then closes it back up again so that it buckles properly. And then at this point, she kind of looks over the saddle of her horse and sees Jolo there and just stares. And she's not smiling. She's got this just dead-eye look. This woman has a few scars on her face. You can see a scar going down her arm. The armor that she's wearing is immaculate in terms of how clean it is. It looks masterwork. I mean, you've seen nice sets of armor before that you can't afford, or maybe people that great warriors or knights, that they wear this level of protection. And of course, the sword at her side, it has what looks like a boar on the pommel of the hilt. And there's a slight glow that you can see is coming from, and it really you're not seeing this because she's on the other side of the horse, but Styx would see it. There's a slight glow, from the sheath where the blade is sheathed. And then of course she's got a couple of daggers, and another one of those hand axes, which is in the small of her back. But she's just looking dead-eyed at you, and it's a long look. Silent, quiet, watching, staring.
So, Styx is slowly backing away as she's staring at him.
Okay.
I'm assuming that a great warrior such as yourself wouldn't attack a crazy person. Could I pretend that I'm crazy?
Yeah.
I think that would be at advantage, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Well, he is a little crazy.
Yeah, because you just spoke to her.
Yeah.
I spoke to who?
You were like, I am assuming a great warrior like yourself wouldn't attack
No,
a crazy
this is
person.
what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Oh. He's thinking.
I got levels upon levels.
When
up
did you
here.
start thinking?
You're thinking,
Something kind of like that. I've had a tough day. I mean, yeah. So she wouldn't. I'm assuming attack a crazy person.
You
I
can assume
could
what you want.
pretend to be their ward. They're just.
Oh, I'm not. Well,
No.
Ward, we're not.
as you're thinking of this, and all
Styx
this
is walking
going
away.
ahead, and you're thinking of this, and Styx is
Trying to get a
slowly
headache all
backing
this
away.
thought.
She, same dead-eyed stare without cracking a smile. You fucking stink.
Still?
She mounts her war horse and gives you one last glance and just pulls the horse and starts to trot down the road.
I think I handled that pretty well.
Me too.
The rest of you just see Jolo
I don't really
she didn't-
stink, do I?
Perhaps she didn't like you doing that in her horse's water.
Well, it wasn't like the horse was still using it.
It was, dear, when we walked up. That's why it tried to pull away to the other side.
Oh, I thought it just didn't like the smell.
None of us like the smell.
It's getting dark. Are we going to do something?
Before it gets too late, yeah, Nihilus would have approached the stables at some point.
Okay.
I'll
Before
follow
during
Nihilus.
Yeah, I'll get
all
out
the
of the tub
shenanigans.
at this point. I've done what I can.
Tub. Yeah, so for your efforts, you,
You've done nothing, Jolo.
I've done a lot.
It's fun
He's
to
taking a bath. You know, this episode 3, Jolo takes a bath.
I lost all my money. I took a bath. Yeah.
So you it's a mod. I mean, a little bit. You're able to remove a lot of the major, still stained. All your white and gold clothing is still stained terribly. The stench is diminished, but it's still obvious to anybody that comes within 5 feet of you.
That I'm a hero.
So it was
in the
red.
Field of war.
I mean, you definitely look battered.
It was red goo, and he had white robes that he's somewhat clean, so I'm picturing him walking around for the rest of the week in pink robes.
Pink. Yeah.
Mostly pink, yeah.
Love it.
I'm gonna get some bunny slippers. It's gonna be fantastic.
He's got pink wet pajamas on right now.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Just out of
Let's get a
curiosity,
horse.
when my pants dry, does that make them even tighter?
probably.
Okay, I have to be very careful when I bend over for anything. You're walking in front.
Nice, horses.
I'm trying.
All right, so you all enter the stables together?
Yeah. Well, I can
hope
use some
not.
of my charismatic fast talk if we have a way to maybe purchase some of these horses.
All right. So as you go in, there's one other person inside that is just leaving. As you're coming, it looks like a farm, just a regular, typical, local that is quickly leaving. And then there is what appear to be a couple of stable boys that are rushing about, as they're coming to the end of the day and preparing, all the horses, feeding and brushing them down and taking care of them and all that is involved in a stable. And there's one man. He's got very dark complexion and this dark wavy hair. He's got dark mustaches and a very, very short beard, and that starts from the top, goes all the way down to almost a pointed chin. Dark brown eyes and long eyelashes. He's wearing these almost flamboyant poofy shirt that is green, very bright green, and then from what you can tell, as he's near the counter, is like dark brown breeches. You can see the toe of a boot sticking out from behind the counter as well, and he's got an enormous amount of jewelry, necklaces, gold mostly, and rings. He's got hoops in his ears. He's got a couple in his nose, and tattoos up and down his exposed arms. This is long sleeves have been rolled up, and he's basically looking over what appears to be a ledger, and he's got a plume in his hand, and he's like writing it from an inkwell. What do you do?
Do you have your hand ready?
We'll approach the desk that he's behind. My good sir, do you happen to have any horses available for sale? We're about to head out of town and are looking for some steeds that can take us a long ways.
Are you all going in together?
Not Jolo.
Not Jolo?
We pushed Jolo outside.
I can't imagine why.
So he hasn't so much as looked up as you've entered, and the last person left. Yes, I have horses for sale. And at this point, he looks up, and his eyes just kind of lock. An Atlantean? I see. They say your race is beautiful. Well,
You are a beautiful people, I would say, but not every individual. Would I agree? Has the same level of beauty as you might find in one as myself. From the vessels. What do you say to that?
I've heard many tales of Tartessos.
Of
It's
course
a
you have. Have you heard of
fine place.
Are you here to see me in particular? Perhaps you've heard of me.
Remind me your name again. It must have slipped my mind.
Remind you my name. Well, such a thing. I would expect that you would know who I am. As a matter of fact, my name is on the outside of this tent. Did you not see it when you came in? I was
I
offended.
thought I had a good perception, but I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
Can I hear all this as it's transpiring?
You can hear all this.
Can I look at the name?
Yeah, you can look.
What's the name?
You don't see a name. I mean, it's just passable. You don't see a name on the outside of the tent.
I'm going to just jump
Can I-
in
can I-
and say right away, we were distracted by some homeless man bathing in the trough out there.
That is not acceptable at all. And he turns around and calls over the one on the stable, but change out the water now. All of it. All of the water must be changed out. Immediately. And these young stable boys have very similar complexion and look as he does, with the darker skin and the darker hair. Very attractive people. Them, I mean, you're kind of like, you know, as you kind of look at it. This is a highly charismatic man, appearance-wise. For a human.
You are hot.
Yes, I know.
I think so too, dear.
I'm completely lost interest in the tent, and I'm just staring at the water, waiting for it to be refilled.
The boys rush out, and you see them just kind of, oh, as they go by you. But they start to chat amongst each other, you know, just like a pig, and move to, you know, change out the water.
Yeah,
You see
I can
them
wait.
literally push the thing in the side. So the water goes streaming, now kind of pinkish liquid, you know, into this muddy street, and then right it again, and I'll go off to get, you know, buckets of new water.
I point at the horse. You're going to have to wait. It's Jolo's time.
So are you here to find out if the legend is true, that I am more beautiful than any Atlantean whom you might ever come across? Because I think I am. And you, my good friend, although you may be quite a looker yourself, I do not think you compare.
I would certainly acquiesce. There's no comparison between the two of us. You easily win this contest.
Good. That is the right thing to say. So yes, in this manner of friendship that we are developing now, I do have horses for sale.
Are they nearly as fine as your olives or grapes that Tartessos is renowned for?
They are, and I miss them deeply. It was a long time ago that I had to leave Tartessos. It was a time when of great anxiety for me. I am not one that would panic under normal circumstances. But you see, I was in love with the princess of a pirate king. He did not appreciate the fact that I was the most beautiful man in the world. And although his daughter was very much in love with me as well, I did not quite have the substantial income that he would require, or the line of work that he would want me to participate in. I'm not that type of Tortesian.
Well, that seems like her loss then, dear.
Why would that be?
Because she couldn't get you.
Oh, no.
She must be very sad
You are
without you.
confused, you good lady. I do, in fact, have her. She is my wife today. I stole her.
Yay!
But because of that, I am a wanted man in Tortesos.
Oh, boo.
Or at least I used to be. I don't know who the current pirate king is of that particular city. In any case, what were we talking about? Oh, yes. I am a very good-looking man.
Might Hildy know who the current pirate king of Tartessos is with her knowledge of history?
This was a long way from 12 today. But roll a history.
All right, I will.
Since you are a learned individual, you might know something about Tartessos.
18.
Yeah, not bad. What you do know is that there are several cities in Tartessos. They're all port cities. And then there are villages and so forth. You know Tartessos as basically slavers and pirates. All of the cities are free cities that are run by pirate kings. They call themselves kings. They change about as often as the wind blows from the north. And so a pirate king one day is not the pirate king the next, typically. They don't last very long. Although, there are some of the more, in history anyway, some of the more powerful and influential pirate kings have managed to last, much longer than others. But who the pirate kings may be now, you have no idea.
Is that working out for you?
Not well.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Ask me about horses.
So, fine, most exquisitely handsome gentleman, about those horses.
You still do not know my name. And you have been so rude as not even to ask what my name might be.
What might be your name that we've so rudely missed?
It occurs to me that I have not asked your name as well. So perhaps the rudeness runs in two directions tonight. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm Hildy, dear.
It is my pleasure to meet you. And he kisses your hand.
Woohoo! I like that. Nim, let him kiss your hand. Very nice.
Nivele Tethalon of Emerald.
A Sylvan elf. He rushes from behind the counter and extends his two open hands to take yours if you extend it. And he does, and he just slowly drifts his lips up your fingers to the top of your hand and then plants a very slow, lingering kiss upon it. Do you feel how soft my lips are? They are the most softest lips outside of Tartessos.
Extremely soft. Nim is trying very hard to stop an eye roll.
It is very hard because this is an exceedingly attractive gentleman.
Do that.
And the rest of you, I assume that these are your companions, and they're here to serve you. This one must know, not your mother. She's not. You're not suppressing your glow. You, one of the mysterious ones. Of a day I have heard of you. I've never seen one. I am most impressed. Again, may I kiss your hand one more time?
Could you do it the way you did hers, dear? That was very nice. Oh,
It is much quicker. And then looks back at them and just kind of gives her a sly wink. And my Atlantean friend, what is your name then?
Jorleth of House Oberlin, at your service.
Jorlets of the House Overland. It's a very unusual name for an Atlantean, I believe. But I will not deny what you're saying is true or not. Although, I'm not sure that I believe you. And the rest of you. Which really just sticks, I guess. This Jolo is like outside, just kind of.
I am outside.
Peeking through the open tent.
Sticks that I am Sticks, the magic extraordinaire.
Your name is Stick.
Sticks.
Why would you name yourself Stick? What kind of mother did you have that she named you Stick?
It is short for Stixalon de Warlon.
I definitely do not believe you. But that is okay. We all have our secrets, as I do. I must keep my secrets to myself and very carefully, as I do not want the Pirate Kings to find me here. If they do, I will have to fight them in a duel until the death. Which, of course, I will win, because they will be dazzled by my beauty.
So who are you, gorgeous man?
Oh, yes. My name, of course. Francisco Porfantorio. At your service. From Pilgrim's Bay.
Francisco.
Time now, currently, in the place of Lionsgate and Lioness. I will be traveling from here soon, I believe. What is going on that has caused all the ruckus?
No, the queen was stolen by demons.
You disappoint me. I do not believe you, lady.
I never lie.
For some strange reason, I believe that when you say that. It's very confusing.
I'm very confusing.
You are in strange company, all of you. Human, elf, Atlantean, for a day. Why are you together as a group of people? Where might you be going next?
We're just met by chance in the tournaments. We were somehow strung together to fight alongside each other. And after the ruckus in town, we've decided to head to Yorwick where things are a little quieter.
Well, that sounds very boring.
I defeated a centaur, dear.
I'm sure you did. Once again, I'm not sure that I believe you.
I never lie.
So you say. And oddly enough, I believe that. It's a conundrum I cannot explain. Contemplate my beauty. You know my wife, she is very beautiful as well. Not nearly as beautiful as I am, of course. As I walk down the street with this beautiful woman. And even the men, they look at me. Perhaps it's just the way of things. It's the curse that I have to carry. So, how can I be of service to you?
Who are you? Yes. Horses?
Horses, yes. Yes, horses. As you like. I can sell you the horses. How many would you like and what kind? Do you want the kind the pillow wagon? Or would you like the kind that you ride into battle? Or maybe you're looking for speed? Or maybe you would just like to look good on a beautiful horse?
I believe speed would suit us the best, Francisco.
I have some beautiful Tortesian stallions.
I'm gonna whisper to Nihilus. Cheap horses.
Do you have any fat ones that would be nice and comfortable for me? I don't like bumps.
You want a fat horse? It's a very strange request.
A comfortable horse, dear.
As you like. I do have one that I have been looking for the right buyer. Perhaps you might be that individual.
Would you like me to kiss your hand now?
My hand has never been kissed by one of the dwarf a day. Of course I would. He extends it out.
Hildy will try and replicate his kiss on Nim's hand.
As he slowly withdraws it, you see this. You can see the reflection of moisture on the top of his hand. The tongue was completely unnecessary, but for what it's worth, it is certainly an experience I will not forget soon.
Is it glowing his hand now? Does his aura rub off?
Firefly.
Apparently not. And now he seems to look a little uncomfortable. So let me find these horses for you. So in the player's handbook, I think they are in our shop book, shop handout. I think they are 75. Do they have that off the top of their head or nearby?
Oh, my book says 12.
12.
For all of them.
Yeah, no, I got it here. I got it. Okay.
Can a horse carry more than one person, or is that
12 by the dozen. Well, if you want fat,
Yeah, 75 for a riding
You're the one that
horse.
picked race horses. What's up with that?
I mean, you can. It's a fast horse. It would be a riding horse. You could ride two to a horse, but they will become exhausted much quicker.
2.5 to a horse? Because otherwise it doesn't really work out that well.
2.5. Wow.
There was that person in the arena that could do half and half on a horse.
When he says the price, Styx is going to start going in the group. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. He didn't say it yet.
How much faster can a horse go than we can on foot?
Generally, on an average, they will, just at a regular canter, will go about 5-6 miles an hour. So faster than you can, just walk. But also you have to. That also includes just over time that you have to stop and rest them, and you water them and so on and so forth. And so there's a little bit of that kind of fudged in there as well.
So
Hang
how
on,
many days walking?
I'm trying to figure out what miles is to kilometers.
That's right.
How many days walking versus how many days on a horse?
Yeah. So again, depending on if you're just like 8-hour days, you're looking at like dusk to dawn type travel. About 10 days on foot, 9 days. Yeah, 9 or 10 days on foot, and you can get it down to between 7 and 8 days on a horse. Again, just your regular
So
10, 12-hour day travel.
375 gold. Is that worth 2 extra days?
Well, no, I mean, that's what, let me see, what, I just want to look at what it's not a draft horse that you want, a riding horse. Yeah, so, yeah, he tells you that, I will sell them to you. You look like you are very much in need of these horses. How many would you like?
Well, there are 5 of us.
Don't forget my fat one.
What's the fat one? But there are only 4 of you here. How strange.
I'm sorry, we do have one extra in our party who's outside waiting for us. An esteemed priest of Suna.
And this esteemed priest has no interest in meeting my esteemed self.
He smells very bad here, and we didn't want to offend you.
I believe you, Father Day. And I will take it on your good word that you are correct that I will not want to meet someone who is stinky and smelly. As you can note quite apparently, how the perfume that I wear is quite alluring. And he is wearing some pretty powerful stuff. Now that you've gotten close to him, just getting over the whole interface with this person, he's wearing very, very strong
Is it like
scented perfume.
Centaur Noir?
Probably. It's not feminine. It's definitely a masculine, strong, full of pheromones, very masculine scent to it.
Hint of sandalwood as opposed to sandalwood full on like
There
with
you go.
Jolo.
I will have you know that I have a very masculine scent as well.
Yes, you do.
I think the term is eau de toilette. Yes.
Go to bed in the toilet.
Toilet.
It may not be cologne, it's colon, but same thing.
But for you, I will happily provide you with the 5 horses you require for 100 gold each.
Wasn't it 75? You.
Yeah, hello.
No, I was just asking how much they were in the player's handbook.
Oh.
That was just me asking you. Nobody had the answer. I found it out, and he's asking 100.
Oh, can we
Oh,
haggle?
thank you.
If you're from the Pirate Kingdom, is this where we haggle for a better price?
You're very wise. I didn't almost expect it.
Oh, 40 gold each. I have children at home. That's a lie, dear. I don't.
I almost believe you. Roll persuasion.
Be high, be high, be high.
That sounds good.
That would be a 6.
But I also sense your need. And the need of many will be coming through here soon, I believe, from what I have heard of whatever travesties that have happened inside the town of Lionsgate. 100 gold still stands. Would anyone else try to negotiate against one of my profession?
Are the stable boys coming back at the or?
Oh yeah, they're like back and forth with buckets of water.
Sticks away for Nihilus or Nim to, but if they don't, then he's going to step up.
know what? I am just tired of waiting for you folks, so I'm gonna walk in. And I'm gonna scream, not scream, I'm gonna say loudly, I'm looking for a beautiful man.
Can I elbow him in the face?
Yes, you may. Want to make a roll? Make an attack roll. Unarmed attack.
That's literally an armed attack.
Nim just went up a few levels in Styx's book.
11.
11? What's your AC?
Sorry.
My armor class is actually 16.
Oh, wait, 5. So, 14, sorry.
14. Okay, so you didn't time
Can I
it right.
help? Can I help?
You didn't time it well, and just kind of get caught up in the tent flap as he rushes in.
Oh, you always elbowing me. That's fine.
But there's about 10 feet distance from where Francisco is standing, and the front of the tent, of the tent itself that you're coming through. So he looks up, kind of startled at first. Oh, you must be the one that smells like the pig.
And you, I have heard tales of your beauty. Are you Francisco?
I am Porfontenio. I am pleased to meet. What is your name?
My name is Jolo the Pink.
I
Yes.
see. Your name represents you very well.
Thank you.
What is this pink that you...
Well, as you know, I am or as you may know, I am a cleric of Suna, and I hold up my shield with a nice symbol on it. And I say,
recognize the symbol?
I fought to protect the queen not that long ago when she was taken, and although I was not successful, I was stained with the blood of my enemies.
I do not believe you.
You know?
Although you speak rather eloquently.
Thank you.
And he starts, although he's about 10 feet away, through the opening, the breeze is kind of, scent is starting to drift in a little bit.
Anyway, I'm on a holy mission, and the sooner we can get some horses, the sooner we can leave you in peace.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying.
I think he's saying the longer we stay here, the more your
Can I
tent
just
will
take a moment,
smell
please?
like him.
Please ask your friend to step back out into the night, as I am unable to concentrate with
Can
sitting there
I,
in such a way.
I'd like to make this up to you. Can I kiss your hand?
No, you may not. Please go away.
You know what? If you don't come to a deal, I'll come back and I'll see if we can negotiate something better.
Roll of persuasion. Intimidation.
Intimidation, nice.
With advantage.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Nice.
Because of the smell.
Yes, because of the stink, and he's just like desperate at this point. You guys are kind of oddly grown used to it.
Nice.
Ooh.
Intimidation plus 5, so 18 plus 5, that's high, right?
Wow.
That's
Whoa.
23.
23.
My stink
Yeah,
precedes
nice.
me.
If you will leave right now, I will give them to you for 50 gold each. Please, just go.
You'll give them to me, you're too kind.
50 gold each is what I will agree to.
I point to Nihilus and I say, my manservant will take care of this.
I
And I walk
don't
out.
believe you.
I walk toward the back with my head held high.
Outside, there are two young boys standing with the buckets, and almost on cue, they toss the water at you as you exit the tent.
It's fantastic.
And you find yourself drenched with water, and they start laughing and run away.
That's actually good. Yeah. So I just stand
Yay.
there.
There's a few people that are like, there's several people in the road, and they're all like, at first alarmed, and then like snickering as you're just standing there dripping wet, your mustache, your long black hair, the Sonny Bono look, like wet cat look. Is and then immediately they just, have this nauseous look on their faces as the scent hits them.
It's still there?
Oh, it's still there.
But 50 gold each? Well
As
done.
Jolo leaves,
Yeah.
Francisco seems a bit relieved. Well played, my friends. Well played. You have won the
50
day.
gold, Nihilus. Let's do it.
So, for 50 gold, you get 50 gold per horse, plus one that's a little fatter than the others.
Yay.
When Nihilus pays him, Styx is going to hold out his hand to Nihilus
For what?
for his share of the rest of the gold.
Once we get outside, I'll hand it over.
This is a lot of waiting. Blue. He's going to step away.
It's been a very interesting experience as he delivers. The stable boys bring out the horses. They don't have saddles. They don't have reins. They don't have any of that. You know, they're just barebacked horses. But they look as if they're in very fine condition. Obviously, he takes pride in keeping his animals very healthy and well fed and so forth. I will remember this day for the rest of my life. A strange group of very unusual people came in and they bested Francisco Portfolio in the game of negotiation. Despite my elegant and beautiful looks, I have been bested today.
Do we
To
know?
that, my hat is off, if I were wearing one, but I am not. So, you'll just have to pretend that I would have a hat to tip for you.
Do we know how hard it's going to be to ride without a saddle, or do we need to?
It's not easy. I mean, all of you probably were trained or spent time on a horse, but with a saddle. Riding bareback is very different than with the saddle. It's hard to stay on comfortably. There's a lot of extra movement there, and it's hard to carry things with you. So yeah, you're probably going to be moving at a slow pace without the benefit of saddles.
I guess I'll say how much for some saddles and tack and harness.
So we negotiate again, do we?
Jolo!
All right, do not call these men. Do not call these men. I will give you a very, very fair deal. So if you, let's see, what is the cost of all that?
Saddles are 10. Saddlebags are 4. Tack and harness.
So you're looking at the 3 different columns?
That's the normal price.
Okay, so he'll give you the cheap price on that,
Cheap?
just for the, not bringing Joe back and renegotiate.
Okay, 8 for saddles, 8 each. And what's their tack and harness?
So if it
Timber.
works out just like 15 gold each, for everything, the saddlebags, the
15 gold each.
yeah, per horse. Does that work out?
Well, it would be 8 each for the saddle. The bit and bridle will be, I guess 1.5 GP.
Okay, so then it's saddlebags, right?
If we want saddlebags.
Okay.
Do we even need them?
We don't have anything to put in them except for everything you stole. You already have that.
Well, you don't know that?
Okay, so whatever it is,
I'm not even
8
there.
Gold,
10 gold.
for the bit and bridle and bridle in the saddles. And he, he's an honorable man as far as you can tell, as he, has his these boys who are very, very well trained, know what they're doing. Fully outfit the horses for you, make sure everything's fitted for you specifically, and that there's no movement in the saddle. That everything is just almost like get the new car experience. As they prepare these horses for you, and it takes about 45 minutes to bring them out and get all that done. And of course, they brush them down and make sure they're clean and check their hooves and all that. And he even throws in some extra horseshoes, an extra set of horseshoes, extra set of tires, for your trouble. And you can tell he's very, very proud of these boys. Again, look very much like him, and the horses that he sells.
Thank you,
Wait, they look like
Francisco.
him and the horses?
And not the horses, but the boys.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I hope that we do not meet anytime very soon. But if you ever cross paths with Francisco Portfolio again, it will be my pleasure and my delight to see you.
I will never
once again.
forget you.
He's talking specifically to them.
Very well.
Not to Joe.
And blushes.
Not to Jolo.
And then,
I just
another,
yell out.
and then another one of those sly winks to To Hildy.
Hildy.
I'll wink at him. And then I'll walk out.
Okay. As you do so, you hear a light feminine voice, same accent. Francisco, are we done for tonight? Yes, we are, my dear. We can retire. The boys will take care of the rest. And you see, any of you that glance back, you see this absolutely beautiful olive-skinned woman, tall, long, dark, flowing hair, these big brown almond-shaped eyes, the long lashes. She's wearing almost like a crown, but it's not a crown. It's just more of a loop with a gem on it, and a long emerald green flowing gown, almost exactly the same color as Francisco's poofy shirt. And she looks, I mean, they're both human. They're probably in their, 30s, early 40s. But the exceptional, obviously taking care of themselves as well as they look.
Power couple.
All right.
So at this point, it's past dark. It's after 7 o'clock in the evening. And as you decide what you're going to do next, we're going to take our break with your horses and your saddles and all the stuff that came with it. Still haven't left Lionsgate proper. Slowly making our way there. We'll see what happens next. So take 5-10 minutes and we will come back. All right, so welcome back, everyone, from our quick break there as we press on through Lionsgate and perhaps make it out of the city before too long. We've got a couple of horses now, and so they have transportation. And as you guys ride into the darkened alleyways of this tent city outside of Lionsgate, what would you like to do next?
I'll say to Nihilus, you know any rivers nearby? So this guy, we can rest near it, and this guy can take care of himself.
Oh, now you want me clean, but when you have the soap over there...
Still going to need soap. 1 gold.
Isn't there a river that runs kind of parallel to the road that goes north?
I mean, there's a major river not too far away, and then there's other tributaries that run off it. So you won't be far from a water source. If it is nighttime though, and so it might be kind of hard to to do that. But there are bathing houses, certainly within the city, and without going back into the city proper. I mean, there's a good chance that there's ones out in the tent city as well.
We just got our horses. They're all set up. I say we keep going.
Perhaps we should get clear of this rabble. It tends to attract unsavory elements.
I agree. Let's ride for an hour or two and
I think
rest
perhaps
up before it gets too dark.
I can keep the rabble away.
I could lead us to a water source, but the question is whether or not Jolo would be able to rough it out there or not.
What do you mean by rough it? It's just
we'll
water.
protect him.
He just doesn't seem the camping sort, but
No, I
guess we
am
can-
more of an urban dweller myself, scholarly and such, in clerical matters. But since Nihilus is leading us, I offer to light up his bridle or his sword or anything so that he can see where he's going. He doesn't seem interested. Okay.
no, that would certainly be helpful if you can cast some sort of light source ahead of us. That would be great.
Like, on your horse? Is that good?
Sure.
What's the moon
Your
like?
sword?
Yeah. So right now, you're still within the tent city, which again is a pretty expansive area. I mean, you walk through and around and near them from the west side over to the east side. They almost kind of like merge together, but they're distinct. And so there are lamps and there are lights, oil, and there are also torches that light the way between the supposed alleyways and roadways within the tent city. So while you're in the tent city itself, it's quite bright. The moon at this time, it's a half moon. Luna is shining brightly above, but can't until you get out of the city. It's of no real benefit. But while you're in the tent city, it's illuminating quite well.
I think once we get on the road, the moon will be enough. Putting light on your horse is just going to destroy all of our night vision.
This was literally Nihilus's opportunity to shine, and you ruined it for him?
Night vision.
Dark vision? Yeah.
Well,
We're here to see Stick start pulling out a lantern and start setting it up on his horse, tying to the...
I can do
no,
red light.
when I said night vision, I meant night vision, not dark vision. When you're just looking out at a dark sky, but you're carrying a light with you, it's much darker out there.
Pink would not destroy your night vision. Jolo the pink can help you.
Let's get moving.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So as you head down the street, at first you hear this echoing call. People around you are kind of stopping to listen. It gets closer and closer. You can hear in the distance other echoing calls. You recognize it as the typical sound of the crier who comes around every so often, with news of this or that or the other thing. In this case, whereas most of the time people don't pay that much of attention unless it's a very significant event or unexpected, tonight everyone just kind of stops and waits and quietly listens to what this crier might have to say. And as he gets closer, you can make out what the boy is saying as he speaks in this loud, very concise voice that seems to, echo well across the tent city you're slowly making your way out of. By order of the king, the tourneys are closed and will not reopen. All citizens and visitors are urged to stay calm. There is no immediate danger foreseen. And then after a few seconds, he repeats it. And you can hear the same, tonal pattern in other voices further off in the distance. There's a relieved look on a lot of people's faces as they may not know exactly what happened, but they know that something happened.
So they're all calm because some strange boy is crying out, "It's all okay, don't worry about it."
Yes.
Okay, these may be the slow adults who are around
Sheeple.
us. Yes, the sheeple. I say we keep on moving, get ahead of the crowd.
Irregardless, I mean, there are, even at this point, at this time of the evening, there are people that wouldn't normally travel at night. There's a lot of people that are still packing up and still hitting the road, going in the direction you're going or other directions. So you're certainly not alone on the road as you head out. And you can see that out in the distance, carriages or carts with a lantern or a torch or a light, or the shadow of people on horses off in the distance as they crest the hill with the moonlight behind them. You can see them on the roadway. And there again, you can see the lights from farmhouses and settlements off in the distance as well. This is still a fairly heavily populated area around the capital city of Lioness. So,
Do you like the idea of traveling with others, especially those with carts? Have you heard the parable of the cart?
No.
In the Book of Reason, it is said that one must not need to outrun the robbers. One must only outrun the carts. So let us go. Let us follow the carts.
All right.
What if one of the robbers are running along with you?
Sometimes the robber could be in a cart himself. There are a lot of different mysteries here, but general wisdom, I've been...
Sticks is gonna look at Nim.
I'll just stop there.
Look right at Nim.
Nim's just gonna keep moving her horse forward.
All right. So how long would you like to travel during the night?
Well, are we staying on the road or are we going towards the river?
It's up to you.
Are you feeling tired?
Let's ride for an hour on the road, and then we'll cut across the river.
And
Yeah,
up
agreed.
the horses are fresh. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jolo's not.
I'm
For
getting
all
used to
people
it.
know, it's the horse
getting
that
used to it.
smells. Right?
There's
If they smell horse, it's the horse that smells.
Is it summer? Is it?
Yes.
How hot is it out? What's
Yeah. Well, you're also the time period is such that you're living toward the end of the Younger Dryas, which is the last mini ice age. So even though it is summertime, gets quite cold. For that matter, right now, during the day, it might get up into the 70s on a warm day. At night, it can get as low as 9, 10 in the summertime. If you got at the extreme, in this particular geographical area, there's not a lot of snow and precipitation that you're aware of, in this area during the summertime. But in the winter is tough. This far north.
To that end, Niles is going to hold out his hand as they're riding on the horse, and whisper to Neve to give him a look ahead as to what the weather will be for the next 24 hours. And he's casting Druidcraft.
Okay, roll a d30.
6.
So your prediction,
The sun will come up tomorrow.
That's good.
Well, the spell reads that I can create a sensory effect that predicts what the weather will be at my location for the next 24 hours.
yeah, so your location is currently right here. And, which, you can reasonably extend out a pretty good distance. That during the day tomorrow, it's going to be, I guess, the equivalency of somewhere in the low 50s. And that you don't expect there to be a very strong wind or breeze from the north. It's always the wind from the north that brings the cold. And so you think tomorrow is going to be what you would consider a temperate day. And in the night, it'll get a little bit more chilly, maybe down to like the equivalent of, high 20s, low 30s. But it's going to be clear with no precipitation and low winds.
So he'll call back to the rest of the group and say, I believe we'll have fair weather for the evening and tomorrow, so looks like we have clear skies ahead.
Yeah, it's perfect traveling weather. I mean,
Can I do some investigation?
on your horse?
No, on my party, because I'm just thinking about this. 2 of them have fought to the death, essentially twice. Hildy has been smacked down by a centaur into the ground.
By a,
No.
By a horse? By some
I
kind
think it
of
was a small child that ran
Knocked
past her
down
in
and
the
then
crowd.
trampled by a crowd, I think.
Yeah. It was a
A
crowd.
smelly
surge.
crowd, I believe was the term.
It was a surge of a
So
crowd.
I'm just wondering, are they all like minty fresh? And I'm the only guy here?
Yes.
Because I'm feeling very self-conscious right now.
Yes.
You're pretty rancid. You're alien goo, basically.
I'm just saying, they didn't just wake up a couple minutes ago after a lengthy shower. I don't know why they're taking shower, when they're sleeping, but
You're the
I don't think
only-
it's just me.
You're the only one.
So did I roll with advantage or?
so that would be more of a perception.
Well, I mean, if I take an active.
You're very perceiving.
pat us down?
Perceiving around you.
Dised, because you can't smell
Don't
it through
slip
your own.
armpits.
I'm just looking for options here.
All right.
Yeah, so you can roll a perception if you want to gather how you measure up to their stench.
Okay, let's see.
The weirdest perception roll ever.
want to know.
I don't think you can smell us.
Well, that's a thing. 10 plus 5. That's actually not that bad, is it?
I mean, it's better than average.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The nose knows.
most certainly, stench that you carry is rather.
As a cleric, I carry a heavy burden.
Yeah, you certainly do, especially in this case. And it makes it much more difficult to really perceive, others' sense around you. Plus the addition of the horse, which has its own sense that it brings with it. The horses are not low fragrance animals, even if they're clean. But you get the distinct impression, without a doubt, that you are the most repugnantly stench-worthy individual in the group.
Fragrant. You're fragrant.
Just to drive the point home, if I see or sense Jolo sniffing around me, I'm going to cast Druidcraft again to create the faint odor of a skunk on his person.
You know what? I'm going to counter that. I'm going to try to... I'm going to persuade myself that I don't smell.
What? He's going to persuade himself. I'm thinking, how did he counterspell?
Yeah, I was wondering that one.
Yeah, well, the sad thing is, he hardly notices.
Me?
Yeah.
Wow.
You hardly notice the addition of the
It's an
skunk.
improvement.
Didn't even have to persuade myself. This is
It
fantastic.
definitely smells more natural. It doesn't have that demon-esque.
It's an earthy scent, right?
Yeah,
It's like musk.
kind of right.
Yes, I have a musky, earthy scent.
Right.
Are we in marching order? And I want to know if he's downwind.
Yeah, can Lim nudge her horse away from Jolo towards Nihilus and catch up with him?
You sure
Yeah,
can?
I think we're all going to sort of like distance ourselves from Jolo, and if he comes near us, we're just going
Jolo's
to
like
keep
sitting
going
in
ahead
the
a little
back,
more.
20 feet behind, just by himself.
Because I think every time he trots up, we're just going to go ahead like even further.
Oh, you're like the little brother nobody likes. Okay. Keeps trailing around. Okay. So as you move forward, you said you wanted to go an hour or so, along the road. Again, you're amongst others that you pass. Others pass you, depending on how much of a hurry they're in. I'm assuming you're not really pressing your horses at this point, just kind of like a regular travel canter. And there are sources of water nearby, streams, and you can see the river running nearby as well, the larger expanse of it. Even through the darkness, there are wayside inns that you can stop at as well, that offer beds for the night. They're not large places, small places, but you already know that these are typical dwellings that you'll find on most major roads throughout the kingdom, and mostly within 100 miles or so of a larger city. How far you want to go before you stop for the night, or
Are we tired, or?
Well, if they're in,
Anybody that
we
has
should just stop
fallen
at
to
an inn.
zero during this day has one level of exhaustion. So yeah, some of you are definitely
That would be
more tired than
three of us.
yeah. But you've been dealing with. I haven't really let it affect you at this point because the adrenaline's been rushing. A lot of things have been going on. But now that you guys have calmed down and you're in the travel mode that you're in, you're definitely feeling it. Especially those that have gone below zero or gone to zero.
I'm getting sleepy.
Let's set up camp. Let's find the
Or
water.
do we want to stay at an inn? I'm sure they have baths just as well.
Our money is pretty precious. We can save it and buy some more soap that nobody else seems to be sharing.
1 gold.
I might not let him in the way he smells.
Let's set up camp. That's more than comfortable for me.
Find us some water, Nihilus. A good spot.
Anybody that wants to can roll a survival. Just keep an eye out for a good place to camp.
Ooh.
Sticks isn't even going to look. He's just going to wait for the Nihilus.
21.
21.
18.
Okay.
14.
All right.
Not bad for a city boy.
Hildy spots the area first, and Nihilus right afterwards. A nice grassy patch. You can see that this has a dirt area with around ring of rocks. This has obviously been a camping ground before. You can see that there's a fresh water spring, not spring, but stream, just down the hill on the opposite side of the road that is within easy and comfortable walking distance. There are a few trees around where you can tie your horses. So very, very good area to camp. That's been used quite often. And surprisingly, nobody's here. But in the distance down the road, you can see steady lights where people, as it's getting about 8, 9 o'clock in the evening at this point, steady lights that other people and fires in the distance. Other people are camping as well along the road.
Be sure to bathe downstream,
You mean where you won't be watching?
where we won't be drinking.
If this water was good enough for the horses, I don't see how it's not good enough for you.
I'm going to run down the hill before he gets there and fill up my water skills.
Somebody's gonna be rolling con save. Okay. So you guys set up camp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nihilus will maybe go off for a few minutes and try to hunt some rabbits or game or something.
Okay. Yeah. Go and roll survival. And anybody else do anything?
Everybody else is going to see Sticks set up an actual tent that he brought with him.
Oh, okay.
It's a 2-person tent,
Very
but
nice.
he goes in and does not let anybody else.
Very nice.
22 survival.
Yeah, so you managed to find a few night creatures around that you can tag and bring in to, but that were low enough that everybody would be fully satisfied if you wanted to share. You building a fire?
Thinking about it.
Sure. I can, well, assuming there wasn't one built while I was out hunting, I can make one happen really easily.
Yeah, we can make.
I'm assuming it's pretty cold, right? You said
It is,
20s
yeah.
or something?
Tonight it's going to get down into the low 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel it. It's already getting cold.
Maybe I shouldn't bathe. I might catch hypothermia unless I could perhaps stay in a tent.
I'd like to persuade him to bathe. You want to actually persuade him? Oh, 15 plus 16.
Okay.
15 plus 16?
15 plus 1.
That's a.
Oh,
You're definitely feeling the pressure to bathe, Jolo, as you're pretty much being, maybe with spoken or unspoken words, being invited not to stay in camp with the rest of the group. So it's up to you.
No rabbits do.
I suppose if they're going to build a fire, then I could dry off near the fire. So
Just like Jolo work.
maybe maybe not that close to the fire.
Unless we push him in.
Okay, I suppose I could, cleanse myself a bit of the day's ride, and then I will be the freshest smelling amongst them, I believe, right?
Well, I mean, you get
Still
on
gotta
the
wash your
screen.
clothes.
Yeah,
Well, I'll be wearing them, so they'll be clean as
that's
I-
your idea of a bath. That's just jumping in.
Well,
I mean,
to a
it
fashion.
works.
Bathing technology was not as advanced as it is in
No.
later eras.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, so bathing in the icy cold, frigid water.
Before I do, can I try to persuade this guy to give me some soap?
You can try.
Yes, I can, and I'm gonna fail miserably.
What would I roll to,
An anti-persuasion.
yeah, what's
Let's just see what he
anti-persuasion?
rolls for persuasion.
Let's see, an 11 plus 5, 16.
16.
Same as yours.
Insight?
Wow, battle of wits here.
Is this, yeah.
I guess it would be an intelligence-based. An intelligence-based. Did I roll Roll an intelligence plus your modifier.
21.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean,
1 gold.
I don't need any soap.
it might.
I don't need the soap. I'll go the natural way. En natural.
5 silver. My final offer.
I can't do math. What is that, like 99% off?
I'll give Sticks a gold for the soap, and I'll go down and bathe with Joel.
No.
Hildy has soap then.
First of all, that's 10 gold, and second of all, no, I think I'll just use water, and you'll have to live with what you've done.
Hildy takes her soap and goes down to the river.
Okay.
Jola will wait till she comes back.
It's even colder and more frigid by the time you go down.
I've heard about Hildy. She's pretty frigid.
She's warming up to you though. I mean, Hildy comes back, fresh as rain. You do your best. I mean, you jump in, you try and scrub the pink gelatin-like leftovers from these creatures off. You're not as successful cleaning the clothes, but just the soaking in the water for a long period of time definitely does help in reducing the scent to a more manageable level. So, people that are right next to you are still going to get a hint of it, but more than a hint, I would say. But for the most part, aside from the coloration, it's not a hazard.
It demonstrates that I'm a working man, working cleric, man of the people,
Something like
or the horses, man of something.
Are you guys setting up a watch for the evening, or just all going to sleep?
I have trouble sleeping, and I wasn't knocked down unlike some of my lesser companions, so I will offer to take the first watch.
Okay.
I'm going to walk up to Nihilus and say, you got that gold for us?
Yep, I was just waiting till we found a moment of peace and quiet, and I will hand him his 40 gold share.
Just him, or,
How much was it?
40 after the horses and the gear.
Can we assume we all get 40, or just this guy?
That is the equal share.
So are you giving us the gold?
Yep.
Or do I have to wait till you fall asleep?
Assuming everyone's in one place at the same time, he'll hand out 40 gold to everybody.
Okay. So Hildy's gonna go to sleep.
Watch order, you're going first?
Yeah, if anyone wants to join me, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll just, go alone like usual.
I'll go last. I like the sunrise.
I'll go last too.
Okay, so generally 3 watches during the night, so that everybody gets a full 8 hours if they need it.
And I'm drying off near the fire, I assume.
Okay. Yes.
I don't want to get pneumonia.
All right, so we go.
I'm just gonna see what Nyla says, because she's gonna try and get a watch with him because she needs to chat to him.
Okay. Well, we got Jello on first, and we have Hildy and Styx on third. Do you want to take second?
Yeah, if Nyla's does.
Sure.
Okay.
What am I, chopped liver over here?
You smell like chopped liver,
Yeah,
actually.
you're all by yourself on your first watch.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go with them.
Some would say that when you have warriors around, you wouldn't want a priest guarding the camp, but hey, hopefully
so
Suna will oblige.
Go ahead and roll a perception for your watch.
That looks good.
A natural 1. Awesome.
+5.
Yeah, it's still that one.
Yeah. So about an
I
hour
warned you.
after everyone has kind of relaxed and eaten the bounty that Nihilus has brought in, everybody is washed as well as they can. Jolo drying by the fire. The rest of you trying to get some well-needed rest. Jolo, as you sit there in the quiet, listening to the night sounds, buzzings here and there, it starts to seem really loud in your ears. That it's quiet. It's so quiet that it's loud. Your ears have this slight ring in them, and you can hear the echo of voices from other campsites, not close by, but down the road a bit. You can't actually see other people at their camps, but you can see the flicker of fire through trees and in the glow over a hill. As you sit there, you swear from behind you somewhere, maybe down the hill where the stream is, what sounds like a whispered
Bill Cosby?
Is it like a male voice or a female
hard to
voice?
tell. It's just so quick and just unexpected. It's
It's not like Cholo. It's Cholo with a J.
I mean, you can debate that in your mind. I mean, one would
I
make
am.
sense, the other one not so much. You know?
You know, I already have, 4 followers up here. Why would I go down for 1 follower? Do I feel a yearning
A yearning for
for this voice, or I just hear it and then I can make up my own mind?
is this a sexual thing or
Do you want it to be? I don't know.
no? I mean, just saying, yearning is quite a very expressive. No, I mean you're just startled by it. How you feel about it's up to you.
I think I will stay by the fire and by the others. And perhaps when they awake, I will regale them with tales of these roaring crowds who were saying my name, having seen me in the arena.
So perhaps with your nerves on edge, by the time your watch ends, there's not another reoccurrence. You're reasonably dry, and Nim and Nihilus, you know, they stir and come toward the fire, not sitting probably next to you, but maybe on the other side. As you know, there's still a little bit of that, you know, lingering scent there. As we go into the second watch, do you retire?
Am I still pink, by the way?
Oh yeah, your clothes are definitely pink.
Okay, just checking. Because I wouldn't want to call myself Jolo the Pink if I were
No.
wearing white.
Yeah, unless you have a way of you know, divining or somehow, you know, summoning Clorox, they're going to be pink until you buy new ones. Or a good prestidigitation spell.
Yeah, I don't have that. I'm thinking about casting a different color light on myself.
But you could multi-class into wizard if you have one.
Or I could just, buy new clothing. Seems like it might be easier.
There are ways. Yes, multiple ways.
Yes, I think I will retire with a job well done.
Okay.
And I'll mention, by the way, the people saying my name, just so that they keep a lookout. If anyone else wants my autograph or, although one of the people got my autograph on the way over, so there's that. Night.
Remember that dead stare you got from that warrior that came out of the stable? That's kind of what you're getting across the fire right now.
Is this what we work up to? I swear.
I gave him the finger gun and just kind of hit off. Finger bow and arrow, I mean. Yeah.
So I guess
Nim,
Jolo
if-
crawls off to some hole.
No, I'm still wet. I'm going to be near the fire.
Oh, okay. You're just bedding down by the fire. I got you.
Yeah, plus it'll help keep them up.
All right. So we go into the
Nim,
second
if
watch.
something-
Is
If something were to happen to him during the night, I would not blame you.
all right. So for second watch, Nim and Nihilus, both of you roll a perception.
$16.
Okay.
21.
Okay. Both of you, staying up together, just you have the hours to pass. Everything seems normal. Another night below the beautiful stars, Luna, casting her light down from the moon upon the earth. Very calm.
And Nim is actually going to sit in the quiet for a little while, and then she's going to turn to Nihilus and say to him, Nihilus, your reaction in The arena seemed a little intense when I used that healing crystal. I stand by what I did. Some of the maidens of Sunu were down. Hildy looked half dead, though who can tell with her. And you had gone like a light pale blue. I don't know what I did to offend you.
Before that, just during their quiet, no, don't worry about it. During their quiet part of the watch, she's got a viol instrument, like the violin that he'll be playing, just kind of very quietly. And then when she starts talking, he'll set it to the side and contemplate. I must apologize to you, Nimalea. My reaction was one of surprise more than anything as I awoke to realize that somebody had rifled through my things. It's not something I'm used to, and I may have overreacted in the moment, but I understand that your intentions were noble and that you were acting on the best accord of those around, so I don't fault you for that.
We're going to need to be together for a while, at least until we find the blood that we're supposed to be finding for FatMan, so might as well be civil. I just needed to know what I'd done wrong. Was it the fact that I went through your things, or was it the fact that I took something that FatMan had given you? Did it upset you more?
I cared nothing for the crystal. I was going to see if somebody else might care to hold on to it other than me. I don't know why he gave it to me in the first place, but I like to keep my things where they are. I was able to recount everything. All of my possessions were still there, so again, forgive my reaction at the time. I'm just not used to others invading my privacy like that.
Can I do an insight check to see if he's being honest?
Good roll.
20.
What, natural 20?
No.
Okay, so dirty 20. None of this is I mean, you two have not known each other for very long, and the time that you have known each other has been a lot going on. So, I mean, the scrutiny is, there's most definitely something that you feel like he's holding back. But given your relationship at this point and how much you know about each other, it's not totally surprising to you. But yeah, he's definitely holding something back.
Okay. I'm just gonna take some jerky out of my bag and hand it to him and sit there in silence for a while.
Okay. All right.
I'll take it appreciatively, and I'll go back to playing my little violin.
The cold silence between you. This is definitely not Kit and Viridian. The second watch ends, and then Styx and Hildy emerge into the cold early morning to take their watch. Go ahead and roll perception.
18.
10.
Okay. However you interact, toward the end of your watch, there is a group of Temple Knights that move in a very, very quick fashion just before dawn from the direction of Lionsgate in the direction of Yorwick up the road. It's a lot of them as they trundle by. I mean, you hear them galloping, from a distance. And it gets you a little nervous at first, the number of them coming so quickly, and then they're past you. One at the lead just kind of nodding to those of you that are awake as they go by.
I guess during our watch, when he thinks Hildy's not really paying attention, Styx going to be by the fire, just sharpening his blade. And she might hear him, she might not, but he's going to say, Suna blessed us today. We're on the right path. We'll find her soon.
I'm gonna roll perception or something
Yeah.
to see if I heard that. That would be a 6.
Can I roll too? Because Nim would have slept the first 4 hours and doesn't need more than that.
Okay, so you're going to be sitting at the fire with them.
I'm actually just going to be lying down listening.
Okay, yeah, you can roll perception as well.
5.
Okay.
The rogue wins again.
Yeah, I mean, the sound of the fire and you know is the crackle and the pop. You know, maybe it's time to add some more logs. Kind of drowns out. And you're lost in your thoughts anyway. And he says it quiet enough that it doesn't really. The most you might have noted is that he kind of, you know, just quietly whispered something under his breath, but you know, didn't hear what it was.
Hildy's meditating and sewing patches onto her.
At the same time, that's impressive.
It was a comma. She's meditating and she's sewing patches.
All right.
And at some point before the watch ends, she's going to stoke up the fire to heat whatever's left of the possum or whatever that Nyla's killed, so we'll have breakfast in the morning. She'll look over at Styx sharpening his knife and just say, "Dear, why do you steal everything?"
What are you talking about? Have you seen me steal anything?
I saw you go in the man's pocket and grab his little note out.
A note? What note?
The one in the very first episode.
The note. Which note? I don't know.
Yeah.
The note that told us to go downstairs to talk to the FatMan.
Oh, that. Oh, Nim told me to do that.
Oh, and then you took that warrior's sword in the arena, dear.
Did she see me do that?
Everybody did. You took it with you.
We needed supplies, didn't we?
Well,
The guy wasn't using it.
his son might have needed it, dear. I just think maybe you could use a little more discretion.
Oh, it's discreet if no one notices.
But I did. Just
This blade may save our lives.
oh, that's true.
I'm gonna give Hildy she's gonna win the battle of shame here. And, you know, it's almost like this is your grandmother that's just shaming you for the candy or the cake or whatever. You definitely feel that, if nothing else.
Styx is going to say to her, trying to change the subject. Do you know what the initials HMM in the Kingdom of Lioness mean?
Do I?
Roll an insight.
Insight or history?
No, this is more of an insight.
All right. 14.
Yeah, no, you have no
A
idea.
heavy-set man.
Hildy's mighty magic.
Oh, I don't believe in magic, dear.
I heard it somewhere. I think I heard the prince mutter it under his breath.
Oh. Oh, perhaps it could be part of our adventure. We could discover it together.
Maybe ask the others. They might know.
Okay, she'll boot Jolo in the leg. Jolo!
I'm sleeping here.
Jolo! Wake up! Do you know what HMM means? Oh! Does it mean
I was looking around like, what?
It's time to wake up, everybody. The sun's coming up. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Did I get my full 8 hours? I need to
I
get
hope
my
not.
beauty rest.
I hope not.
You all would have gotten the required rest that you need before the day begins. And just as Nihilus predicted, you know, it begins to warm up a little bit as the sun comes up, Suna bringing back the orb of light into the sky slowly, and kissing your sister once again as she bids her a good night. Luna departs the skies, and this is the kind of normal thing that you grew up with. Those that, you know, believe in Luna and Suna and Iru and how they interact together as sisters. These are kind of the stories that you were brought up on, so those are the kind of things that go through your mind, just anecdotally as you witness these events. And so just as Nya's predicted, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful, clear day, a beautiful day to ride. Nim, you would have noticed the Temple Knights going out, going by as well, and maybe just before dawn, that Nihilus and Jolo might have slept through because of their complete exhaustion and just being so tired after such a long day. But it was notable to you as well, the haste and urgency that they were passing by, and as you prepare to begin a new day, traveling closer to your destination, to the north. We will end session 3 and pick up on that in episode number 4.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. Didn't have a lot of combat going on that one, but had a lot of great RP that hopefully everybody enjoyed. Who knows what this crazy crew will get into next week. Have a good night. Thank you.
Level 2.
Oh, yes.
We wake up level.
Yes, that's absolutely. Thank you, Kim, for reminding me. That yes, as you complete your long rest, all of you have finally achieved level 2.
Magic.
Yeah, magic, right? Level 2. So you guys will have a little bit more to give next
Hooray.
week.
And fresh morning possum.
That's right. Can't pass that up.
Did you say you call possum? I missed that.
He said a night critter. It might as well have been a possum.
Yeah, why not?
Armadillo? I don't know.
Raccoon,
Right. All kind of in the same level of,
giant rat.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Good night.
Cheers.
I look like I'm deep in thought, but we all know the truth. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'm still frozen. No.
Quick, the DM can't do anything. Let's take them all off the board.
And then I'm
I
stuck.
did kill that other one. You tried dead.
No, but we're not counting. No, he didn't.
I did. I was at the 10.
No.
Oh,
No. Well, that last little bit, it sounded like one of you guys had a squeaky chair.
yeah, a lot of creaking and
Yep, that's it.
I'm always muted.
If only there was like some button you could press when you wanted to talk.
You have WD-40 over there, Kim, or something like it?
Find something. I didn't realize it was me.
Yeah, I turned mine upside down today and sprayed the shit out of it, and I'm not getting any creaks out of it anymore. It's just rolling.
I'll order it.
It's been a stressful fucking night, Jesus.